Starting a new miniatures game is an exciting time. You're learning the game, falling in love with the models, making new friends, but it's not always easy. Y'all know that we are very sensitive to the on-ramp experience of games here on the channel. I just started playing Infinity by Corvus Belli in the fall. Let's talk about it. Hit that intro, baby. Welcome to Corner Case. You're in the hobby corner. I'm your host, your wheel of cheese, your best friend, Deck. As I stated earlier, I have been playing Infinity starting in September. Let's talk about the good and some of the rough stuff. There's definitely more good than difficult, and I'd like to give Corvus Belli a big shout out. Thank you for making it as easy as possible. For those of you who are interested in playing Infinity, let's go over it. So, the first good thing, I had a group of friends around me who play, and a couple local stores that stock the miniatures, and that went over really well. You know, whenever you learn a new tabletop game, there's definitely like a learning curve. It's not always easy. So having friends who are willing to do smaller games, walk me through every rule, take like 3 hours to play like a tiny point match, that was really, really helpful. The community in general too, not only my local group of friends, but it was so easy to plug into the local Discords and the Discord for Infinity itself officially. And there I was able to ask so many questions of the people who play my faction. Locally, not many people play my faction. So if I have any specific questions about unit interactions, I wasn't able to really get that in great detail in my local meta. And that's where the online community on Discord was super, super helpful. That's definitely been just a big boon across all tabletop games in general, but especially Infinity, I think real good job, chef's kiss when it comes to the community there. The next point is the app. Y'all know on the channel, I love a good app. Corvus Belli puts out Army Builder app, and it is pretty good. I'm pretty happy to say that, you know, as soon as I started playing with my friends, they were like, hey, just use this app. I was able to build my army really quick. Also trade it with my friends so that they could like correct it or tell me like how to pilot it as we were playing the game. Just that feature of being able to build really easily, being able to save your lists, being able to trade your lists, that feature has been really, really nice to me, and that made the game infinitely easier. Additionally, the app itself links to the wiki, which is another good thing. Infinity has a wiki that has all the rules baked in. So that's really, really awesome. I don't have to lug a codex with me. And I can just go from the app. If I have any questions about a ruling that's stated in the app, I just click on it, boom, you're in the wiki all of a sudden, and it explains the rules for it. So that was super, super smooth as well. Not a first-party app is Comlog. That works really well too. Basically, it has all the missions and stuff built in. So I still bought the classified objectives and the rulebook to support Corvus Belli, but knowing full well that I don't have to carry them because I can get all the rules on my phone via the apps, both Army and Comlog. So that's super, super useful. And then finally, the last two probably most important things that I haven't even talked about yet, the painting. Oh my goodness. Infinity sparked something in me that I'd forgotten for a couple years. It sparked this new old drive to paint miniatures that I haven't felt in a long time. Back in the day when I was playing a lot of Malifaux 2nd Edition, I was super into the painting. And then for a while I stopped, especially during the pandemic, I stopped playing games because it was kind of hard to meet up. And I started just painting 40K. And you know, honestly, like painting Space Marines over and over again got kind of boring. And then when I started playing Infinity, oh my God, I was so excited to start painting. I just painted so much. And it was the first time in a long time I felt like trying to achieve that box art, you know, like I didn't really feel that with 40K where I wanted to achieve the box art, and Malifaux didn't really have that. They would put illustrations on the box, but the Infinity box art, oh my goodness, you really want to get there. Everything is non-metallic metals, and I wouldn't have tried that before, but because I wanted to get that look, that art direction, that style, I tried super hard, and I pushed past and I learned it, and that gratification of skill building from that painting, that all came from Infinity, and so I'm really, really pleased with that part of the hobby, at least for my personal hobby. And then finally, the gameplay. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty vocal about the Warhammer 40K turn, you go, I go turn structure being really, really antiquated and being a big proponent of alternating activations. And the ARO mechanic in Infinity, oh my God, it takes that alternate activation mechanic and then just makes it so butt-clenchingly exciting. My cheeks are so tense when I'm playing this game. There's never a dull moment. Like your turn, my turn, you know, both turns are like equally challenging and exciting. You always have to be engaged, and that's so unique. The gameplay cannot be understated how fun Infinity is and how fast-paced depending on like your experience level. So it really feels quick even if you're playing a longer game. Every decision really matters a lot. It's still a dice game, but oh my God, I'm definitely not putting down Infinity ever again. I'm definitely gonna be playing this for like the rest of my gaming career. I'm calling it right now, calling a home run. Infinity and Malifaux is where I live. Next, I want to talk about some of the, not cons, but like some of the rough parts of on-ramping into Infinity for me. Everything's kind of a double-edged sword from like what I talked about earlier. So like I said, my community really helped me like ramp up into the game, but but I'm one of the only few new people playing that game, which means whenever I play with my friends, I'm definitely the weakest one, at least for the next couple months until I can like get my reps in, you know? And I think that's just like wargaming in general. If you live in an area with a smaller group or there is a more established player base around you, when you come in as like the new guy, you're definitely gonna kind of not win that many games. So, I mean, that's okay. You know, like the first like 5 games, I got tabled even before like turn 3, which is the last turn in Infinity. But, you know, like that's just kind of rough, but it's not Infinity's fault. You know, I think that's just like part of wargaming. So I'll get good. Next, I told you guys that the app, the Army Builder, works really well. And it does, but a lot of things are actually in icons without labels. And I understand kind of why they did this. It's kind of information dense. And by giving you icons instead of words, they can kind of put a lot more on a page. And so you can have a lot more features in one page. But without knowing what all the icons mean, at least the first like couple games, I found myself having to ask my friends like, hey, how do I access this information? Where's the martial arts table at? What does gun do? And you have to figure out like the interactions almost by just trying them. If you've ever played this like card game called Mao, it's basically this game where the dealer knows all the rules and everyone at the table is trying to learn the rules by failing. So when he plays a card, then you play a card. If you play the wrong card, he gives you another card and you're supposed to reduce your stack. That's what it feels like working with this app sometimes, is like, I feel like I'm supposed to press buttons and then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. And then just by trying it, that's like how you learn to use it. For the most part, it like kind of makes sense, like when you're building an army and stuff, but a lot of the specific interactions, it's not like super clear. So I think that could probably use a lot of work, a lot of work probably. Again, thank you Corvus Belli for the app, but that's a user interaction, user experience thing that I think is kind of tough, you know. So hopefully it'll constructive criticism there. You know, I'm not going to knock Corvus Belli because they are providing me with this awesome service, but I'm trying to be sensitive here. That part was rough. And then the last thing that I thought was kind of tough getting into Infinity is the metal models. Before Infinity, I had played Guild Ball, and that was the only other miniatures game where I had to assemble metal models. But I would say that the design of those models are relatively girthy, so it wasn't super rough like putting them together. But the scale of Infinity and like the art direction, there's a lot of like realistic people proportions. And so a lot of these models are a little bit spindly compared with other metal models I have worked with in the past. And for the most part, like everything is plastic and resin now. So I've rarely had to put this many metal models together, and it's been pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. There was definitely like a pretty big learning curve for me of like when to pin, when not to pin, really relying on that accelerant for the super glue. Also, like if parts don't fit, fucking just muscling them into fitting with each other was something I had to learn the hard way. For any of you out there who haven't really worked with metal miniatures before, if they do not fit, you just freaking muscle them into place. That is what I found out I had to do. So yeah, that was a little bit of a tough part for me. The Marut for sure it made me cry a little bit, a lot. I cried putting together the Marut because the arms kept falling off. I had to assemble the top arms and the bottom arms. The bottom arms are holding the same thing. Anytime it's 2 arms holding a gun, you got to make them work. I appreciate the metal models. I like the weight. I'm not like a metal or plastic models kind of guy. I'm not gonna entertain that discussion. They have their merits and they have reasons why for the business they have to make it that way. But I will say it was a tough learning curve. That's probably an Infinity thing because every other game I play is in plastic or pre-assembled. That was definitely a little bit challenging. So far that has been my experience as a new Infinity player. Overall, awesome painting, so much fun gameplay. A streamlined as much as possible rule system that I can learn from an app or several apps, and an online community that is super helpful. Really gratifying game to be in. I'm so happy that I discovered it, and I just had some constructive criticism points about how to maybe improve the experience. I think the app itself needs a little bit more work in terms of the user interaction being more clear. And, you know, just if we can get this game to be more popular, then, you know, having a more diverse player base definitely addresses being the weakest gamer in your group for 6 whole months. Those are my thoughts. Hope that was helpful. If any of you guys are thinking of playing Infinity, do please take the leap because it is extremely fun, extremely rewarding. I would say the miniature gamer's miniature game, and for those reasons, I highly recommend you try. If not, you can Tabletop Simulator, which we can talk about a separate time. With that, thanks for swinging by. Please, I beg you, like and subscribe. We're desperate, and we will see you guys next time.
Even in death, I still subscribe.